Hello everybody, I'm Kitatas. Just to give you guys a whole new update that in regards to the AkioAir situation, Force himself actually put up a video, a 67 minutes video, in regards to the whole situation about AkioAir, which includes statement that I used to cover just a little bit on most of the talents putting up their statement, and most of all is that all at the time of this recording, it kind of like confirmed that there is no more talent left in AkioAir, meaning to say that because of that, somehow, some way, somewhere, the agency decided to just demand money from the VTuber for damages. Understandable is that this thing can be considered that the talents have to go through for the damage. But the one thing that I need to put out is that the way that for actually point out many things is that, like I mentioned before, that the AkioAir decided so far has no further update or reply even from the talent themselves. Is that they had kind of like, when, like I mentioned, radio silence, which I will talk about, that can be a problematic. But one of the things that I have to let you guys know is that FalseEyeD did mention a few stuff that is very worrying, as well as it's kind of like, what the hell did this just happen? Like, okay, FalseEyeD, one of the hosts that things VTubers say, had actually been collecting a lot of stuff, and then he had been highlighting a lot of stuff lately himself, and that he even go to the point of checking most of the even us of the former talents of AkioAir and the current talents and advising them accordingly. So what caused me to feel frustrated, it's not at him, don't get me wrong, is at how much information that was finally released, and that I was able to have a little bite of that juicy information. It gave me a lot more stuff to do calculation and prediction in regards to this Jason guy, which I will tell you guys, this just to put up a discrepancy, it's just a theory. It's just my belief, my opinion, my thought based off my knowledge and experience. So there's a few things that we need to highlight in regard is that based on the whole, I won't tell you guys the whole jumbo stuff, but apparently that based on what the whole situation is that, like, for say CEO threatened to sue. In this case, it meant to say that with of what my belief is that this CEO of AkioAir, Jason, decided to so allegedly go with a legal action. But from how I look at it through the statement of all the other talents, they had indicate that it's not a one-time thing on one or two other channels, but all against them. Which means to say that using legal threat, almost towards the point of like threatening with legal action, that alone can be considered abuse and blackmail. Which you guys will be wondering, wait, what? How can legal become a blackmail? Yes, it can be considered a blackmail. Because the thing is, right, it's considered abuse of power, power harassment, and stuff. So in the sense that all these things that this Jason had did to the talents fall under the justification that I believe is under mismanaged of talents. Under the industrial, mismanaged of talent can be considered a serious crime, because not only are they abusing the talents, they are also kind of like trying to brainwash or manipulate, because that based on all the statement and the indirection of how Jason typed out his message, it give me a clearer picture of how and what kind of person Jason is at the moment, and which I will explain that he seems like a person who will try to get himself into most of the stuff, but at the same time paint himself a good person, and at the same time trying to make sure that people listen to him. But the thing is, right, like I mentioned, trying to get people to listen to him, that in a sense can be considered a manipulation, which can be a problem, because if it does prove that, he's trying to go around and telling everyone that, oh, you guys just need to listen to me. Don't need to do anything. Oh, you don't want to listen to me? I'm going to threaten you with legal action. That alone can be considered a whole new problem in according to their law, because it's technically abusing of power. Power harassment is considered a crime in some country. So that is number one. Number two, Force had kind of like point out the payment, the request paid with him, which a lot of us are not aware. It's like, it's the first time I hear about request based payment, which I will give on my theory, but I will also let you guys know that request based payment is something that along the line is not unheard of, but it's most on the point of being earlier paid. And what does that mean? Meaning to say that, let's say for example that your payment or your payday is supposed to be on the 15th of every month, but sometimes you might need you might have having some financial issue and you wish to collect a bit earlier. You can request for an earlier pay, but you have to pay back in your due diligence or stuff, because like example you need to have a pay, you have to, like, you are in need of diet financial need, and probably that's the reason why you might request for it. That I believe is what was supposed to mean. But never in my life I have heard of a payment being pushed back. And based on the statement given by all the other talents, it's very, very likely to say that Jason had been pushing back to pay each talent accordingly. Now here's the theory that I'm actually come up with, and I believe that it may be fall under the fraudulent as well as misuse of funding. Or to be realists, misuse or management of their company fund. So what do you mean by that, Ame-san? Alright. What I believe, based on investment there is a parent investor for this company, as well as that talents indicating that they have to use their own fund, their own money for the project, which means that no money was technically being invested into talent themselves. No money, and the funny thing is, right, they even there was evidence shown that AkioAir tried to lowball all the work done for them. Lowball, okay guys, lowball, which means trying to cut the fee that they will due for them. So let's say for example, I'm not very good at explaining, but let's just say that example, you buy a chicken leg for $3. The company decided to ask you, can you sell that at $1? And you have to sell that at $1. That's called lowballing. So yeah, so the question is like, where does all those money gone? Why is it that they are being paid late, or why is it what it's like people are investing a lot of money into this company, and yet we don't see where's the money gone. So what I believe is that it's very likely that in my theory, and it's just a allegation, that Jason himself had misappropriate use, in other words, misuse the funding of the company and use it for his own lavenger's life, and people will be like, are you sure about that? That he had used it for a trip. I believe in high chance he had used the money to go to a trip in Japan. That is something that, if proven correctly, they have to go and search it, because they have to investigate into this. And I believe that Jason might have actually destroyed that account book already. I believe very high chance that he had destroyed that account book, and that the only way to go back to those checking is that a reverse counting. So meaning to say that they have to recount the amount that was sent to him, as well as recalculate the amount of money that was used in each project. But I believe that if everyone decided to stand up and point out the money that was being appropriated to them, I believe there is a huge chunk of money that might have been actually went into his own pocket. That is my belief. So if proven so, it is very high chance that, like the number 2 point of misuse of company fund that is considered a huge big problem. So after all these things, what aren't he gonna get arrested? Well, in fact, we are not very sure whether he try to get will Taiwan police really arrest him for such a thing. Because the thing is, right, there is still no charge against him. So meaning to say that he is trying to pull the first trigger, and that if proven correctly and the talent had been defended accordingly, they can risk like counter sue against the company, and that Jason will then be considered under charge. And they have to also at the same time highlight that he has there is a chance of him escaping. At the moment, based on his statement and sentence and all the way he interacts with others, based on my calculation, there is a very high chance that this Jason guy will flee. And when I say free, it's not the FREE, but the FLEE, meaning to say he will try to escape, and he will try to run away with the money that he still have at the moment. So someone better put a restraining order on him, or someone that is in Taiwan put up a restraining that order on him, because that's how I feel that he might do. But it's just a theory, just something that I think about, and whether is it true or not, we do not know. So there is a high chance, because all this news that is happening doesn't seem to look good on the company, and so far based on what I think, you guys have to understand. If YouTube will he decided to sue me, well, who knows? But the one thing is that so far all of the talent had indicated that this they had kind of like support, they have band together and support each other's statement, which is something that is not unheard of, but at the moment on this Vtuber community is really unheard of, and that it had proven that this AkioAir and this station guy is not of a company that you guys think it is. A lot of allegedly and claim by each of the talent is infuriating, it's very frustrating, it's very like it can piss me off, not on the talents but the way they were treated, the way they're being mistreated. And now the last thing when I say like what is the 3 point that that you're going to talk about fraudulent, there is a few point that was highlighted by Meal who was that she had mentioned that Jason, in order to pull in more talents, over promises people and as like overhype on their product. It's not wrong to do such a thing, but over promising and fail to deliver, that is when it can be considered a fraudulent. And that another thing is that based on what I look at the whole situation, it seems that he had been kind of like pulling the same thing to even investor, and that if that is the case, because investors are trying to get their money back, and it seems to me that this Jason guy did something along the line of misuse of the fund, and if that is the case, there is a high chance that he's doing some sort of like he kind of like scam the investor. And if that is true, the investor can do is that they can sue him for fraudulent, and if that go through, that will be the final nail in the coffin for this CEO slash manager of AkioAir. And we have to see how it goes. So far, I can't really go too much into it. But the one thing I will give, the one road, Jason, if you are really watching this, since you are a gorilla, since you call yourself an ape, I'm pretty sure I posted this. That AkioAir probably have a new debate. And I believe that this model, if you require the model, tell me, I will send you the just drop me a Discord, drop me a message, drop me a DM. I can send you this image. A image that I did last year. Don't need to worry, I won't sue you for using it. I won't tell you to not use it. I won't tell you to that I will go against you on using my item. Instead, this is free to be used by anyone. If anyone want to use it, go ahead. Just credit me. Tell me about it. And let me know that this thing is being used, I will give you I will give you my permission. Even right here, I will let you guys know. But if Jason, if you really want to use this, go ahead. I won't stop you. Well, who knows? This is for him to decide whether he want to use it or not. Because a gorilla in red dress. Hmm, that would be an interesting thing to know in the future. With that being said, that is enough from further information for me. I believe this will be the final thing on for me in regards to AkioAir, and I don't really like to cover up about this company anymore because it just blamed a black. It's just, to me, it's confirmed plus chop plus stamp plus warranty plus keys to the stamp and chop again that this is a black company, a VTuber black company. It's worse than Wactor. I will be covering. I was thinking of like which is the worst VTuber agency of 2023. Yeah, I don't think we need to do any more about that. It's already guaranteed. And if you think I should cover about that, write in the comment below and let me know whether I should cover that. What is the worst VTuber agency in my opinion? And at the same time, I'm just going to tell you guys one of the reasons why I'm covering this is because I want to protect one of my friend. And one of my friend, I will not say who, I will not say is she still in the company or not, or is she part of the company or not, or did she debate or not, I will not say, but it's to protect one of my friends. And that I hope that this Jason guy, you picked the wrong tree to bark, a wrong tree to go against. Now have fun. With that being said, for other people, if you do like this kind of random chat, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat if you have not. And we'll talk again at the next video or live stream. Good day, good night, and goodbye.